Immigration to the United States has always been a process shaped by laws, procedures, and policy interpretation rather than promises or assumptions. For many applicants, the journey begins with hope, but it often continues through long periods of waiting, uncertainty, and adjustment. Understanding how the system actually works is essential, especially as immigration policies evolve in response to administrative priorities, national interests, and enforcement strategies. One of the most important realities about U.S. immigration is that rules rarely change overnight, but their application can shift gradually. Processing priorities, internal guidance, and review standards influence outcomes just as much as written law. This is why applicants often experience delays or requests for additional evidence even when eligibility appears straightforward on paper. Family-based immigration remains one of the most common pathways, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Filing a petition does not guarantee approval within a specific timeframe. Each case moves through multiple layers of review, including background checks, document verification, and eligibility confirmation. Backlogs are influenced by annual visa limits, country-specific demand, and agency capacity. Employment-based immigration follows a similarly complex structure. Employers must demonstrate genuine need, compliance with labor requirements, and the absence of qualified U.S. workers in many categories. Even highly skilled applicants are subject to quota systems and processing backlogs that are outside individual control. Temporary visa holders often assume that maintaining valid status alone is sufficient. In reality, compliance involves much more than avoiding expiration. Maintaining lawful status requires adherence to the specific conditions of each visa category, including work limitations, study requirements, and travel rules. Violations, even unintentional ones, can have long-term consequences. Travel is another area where misunderstandings are common. Entering the United States is never automatic, even with a valid visa or green card. Admission is always subject to inspection. Officers assess intent, consistency of records, and compliance history. Small discrepancies can lead to questioning or delays. Green card holders often believe their status is permanent regardless of behavior. However, permanent residence depends on maintaining ties to the United States. Extended absences, inconsistent tax filings, or unclear residency intent can raise concerns during re-entry or future applications. Residency is not defined by documents alone but by daily life patterns. Citizenship represents the most secure immigration status, yet it requires careful preparation. Applicants must demonstrate continuous residence, physical presence, good moral character, and truthful disclosure. The naturalization process often involves a review of past immigration history, including earlier applications and entries. As technology advances, immigration systems increasingly rely on data integration. Information shared across agencies allows for more comprehensive case review. While this can improve efficiency, it also reduces tolerance for inconsistencies. Accuracy and honesty are more important than ever. Another important factor is the role of discretion. Immigration officers apply laws within policy frameworks, but discretion still exists. Preparation, documentation, and credibility influence how discretion is exercised. Applicants who are organized and transparent are better positioned to navigate the process smoothly. Misinformation remains a significant challenge. Social media, unofficial sources, and rumors often create unrealistic expectations. Not every announcement applies to every category. Policy guidance may differ from statutory law, and timelines vary widely by case type. Financial responsibility is closely linked to immigration outcomes. Tax compliance, income reporting, and sponsorship obligations are carefully reviewed. Affidavits of support must reflect accurate financial capacity, and inconsistencies can delay or complicate cases. Students and exchange visitors face unique challenges. Maintaining enrollment, adhering to work restrictions, and reporting changes promptly are critical. Violations can affect future eligibility even after departure from the United States. As enforcement priorities shift, compliance becomes increasingly important. Immigration is not only about eligibility but also about behavior over time. Patterns of compliance build trust, while repeated issues invite scrutiny. Planning ahead is essential. Immigration should be approached as a long-term process rather than a single application. Decisions about travel, employment, residence, and family all interact with immigration status. The emotional impact of immigration cannot be ignored. Uncertainty affects mental health, relationships, and career development. Understanding the process helps reduce anxiety and supports informed decision-making. Looking ahead, immigration policy is likely to remain complex. Economic needs, security considerations, and political factors will continue to influence the system. Flexibility, patience, and preparation are the most reliable strategies. Ultimately, successful immigration outcomes are achieved through knowledge rather than shortcuts. Applicants who invest time in understanding the system, maintaining compliance, and planning realistically are better equipped to handle challenges. This video is intended to provide clarity, not promises. Immigration is a legal process governed by rules that apply equally, regardless of expectations. Staying informed, cautious, and proactive is the best approach in an evolving system. As we continue to explore U.S. immigration realities in 2026, one of the first things applicants must understand is that the system is increasingly data-driven. Immigration authorities have access to comprehensive records including travel history, employment verification, tax filings, and prior applications. This means that patterns of compliance, consistency, and credibility matter as much as eligibility requirements themselves. Employment-based immigration remains one of the most scrutinized areas. Employers must demonstrate that foreign workers are essential and that no qualified U.S. workers are available for the position. Even when qualifications are high, delays can occur due to quotas, administrative processing, and security checks. For visa holders, maintaining compliance is an ongoing process. A lapse in employment, changes in job responsibilities, or late paperwork submissions can trigger scrutiny. Applicants must track every update carefully and ensure documentation aligns perfectly with reality. Family-based immigration also continues to present challenges. Petitioners must not only file the correct forms but also anticipate potential backlogs and processing delays. Approval of an I-130 petition, for instance, does not guarantee immediate visa issuance. Consular processing, priority date availability, and background checks all affect timing. Families often encounter unexpected hurdles due to minor discrepancies in documentation, incomplete information, or outdated records. Planning ahead is essential to minimize stress and avoid unnecessary delays. Temporary visa holders such as students, exchange visitors, and tourists face similar complexities. Maintaining valid status requires adherence to every condition attached to the visa. Unauthorized employment, lapses in enrollment, or failure to report changes can have long-term consequences. Many students and professionals believe that minor oversights are overlooked, but immigration authorities increasingly flag even small discrepancies in their digital systems. Travel is another critical area that requires careful attention. Admission to the United States is never guaranteed, even for visa or green card holders. Officers evaluate residency intent, documentation, and compliance history. Frequent or extended travel abroad may raise questions about abandonment of status for green card holders. It is crucial for applicants to maintain evidence of U.S. ties including employment, residence, and financial activity. Citizenship offers greater stability, but it also requires preparation. Continuous residence, good moral character, and truthful disclosure are all required. Past violations, even minor, can affect eligibility. Officers review applicants' entire immigration history, meaning transparency and consistency are essential. Planning for naturalization should begin well before the minimum eligibility period to avoid last-minute complications. Technology now plays a central role in immigration enforcement. Biometric systems, digital records, and integrated databases allow authorities to identify inconsistencies quickly. While this improves efficiency, it also means that mistakes or omissions are less likely to go unnoticed. Applicants who maintain accurate records, submit complete documentation, and proactively resolve issues are in a much stronger position. Financial compliance is another key factor. Accurate tax reporting, sponsorship obligations, and affidavits of support are reviewed carefully. Errors or discrepancies can delay applications or raise concerns about eligibility. Immigration officers look for patterns of responsibility over time rather than isolated mistakes, so consistent financial behavior is critical. Students, professionals, and families must also navigate shifting policy priorities. Enforcement now targets compliance gaps, overstays, fraudulent filings, and misrepresentation. While not everyone is affected, the likelihood of selective enforcement is increasing. Those who maintain transparency, adhere strictly to rules, and seek professional guidance when necessary are less likely to encounter problems. Planning long-term is essential. Immigration is not a single event, it is a process of continuous compliance and adaptation. Decisions about travel, employment, residence, and family all interact with legal status. Short-term convenience often creates long-term problems, and proactive preparation is the most reliable way to avoid disruption. Emotional resilience is equally important. Long waits, uncertainty, and changing regulations can create stress and anxiety. Applicants who approach the process with knowledge, patience, and realistic expectations are better equipped to handle the mental and emotional challenges that come with immigration. Social media and unofficial advice remain common pitfalls. Misinformation can lead applicants to make dangerous assumptions. Not every story, video, or forum post reflects current policy, and not every announcement applies to every category. Applicants must rely on official sources, qualified attorneys, or verified guidance to make informed decisions. Legal representation is a critical factor. While hiring a lawyer does not guarantee approval, professional guidance ensures compliance with timelines, proper filing, and preparation for interviews. Attorneys can also help identify potential risks before they become problems, providing strategic planning for both temporary and permanent immigration pathways. The difference between eligibility and approval cannot be overstated. Meeting the basic criteria does not guarantee a favorable outcome. Approval depends on documentation quality, consistency, discretion, and timing. Those who understand this distinction are better able to plan their cases realistically. Looking ahead, immigration policy is unlikely to become simpler. Economic, security, and political priorities will continue to influence law enforcement, visa allocation, and processing priorities. Applicants must assume that scrutiny will increase rather than decrease. Compliance, preparation, and strategic planning are more important than ever. Finally, the most successful immigrants are those who understand the system, anticipate challenges, and maintain integrity throughout the process. Immigration is not a gamble, it is a series of calculated steps. Every action taken today can affect eligibility, approval, and long-term stability tomorrow. Awareness, patience, and diligence remain the most reliable tools for anyone navigating U.S. immigration in 2026. As we move deeper into the realities of U.S. immigration in 2026, it becomes clear that long-term stability is now the central focus for applicants and authorities alike. Immigration is no longer viewed as a short-term opportunity but as a structured system designed to evaluate intent, responsibility, and long-term contribution. Every application, extension, and status change is examined within a broader narrative of an individual's history, behavior, and compliance. One of the most critical decisions immigrants face is choosing between maintaining permanent residence and pursuing U.S. citizenship. While a green card provides legal residence and work authorization, it also comes with conditions and vulnerabilities. Permanent residents must continuously prove that the United States is their primary home. Extended stays abroad, weak financial ties, or inconsistent employment can trigger questions of abandonment. Citizenship, on the other hand, offers security, but it demands strict eligibility, transparency, and a clean immigration history. Many green card holders underestimate how closely their actions are monitored over time. Tax filings, employment history, address updates, and even social media activity can be reviewed during future applications. A mistake that seems minor today can resurface years later during naturalization or sponsorship processes. This is why maintaining consistency across all records is essential. Discrepancies between tax returns, immigration forms, and employment documents often lead to delays or denials. Travel behavior has become a particularly sensitive area. While lawful residents are permitted to travel, frequent or prolonged trips abroad can create the impression that the individual's life is centered outside the United States. Officers may question whether the applicant has truly established permanent residence. Maintaining documentation such as lease agreements, utility bills, employment letters, and tax records helps demonstrate strong ties to the U.S. Advanced planning before long trips is increasingly important. Employment compliance remains another pillar of immigration stability. Unauthorized work, changes in job roles without approval, or gaps in employment status can jeopardize both temporary and permanent visas. Even employment-based green card holders must be cautious when changing employers or job responsibilities. The assumption that a green card grants unlimited flexibility is incorrect. Certain conditions remain attached, especially in the years immediately following approval. Family immigration continues to evolve as well. Sponsorship now involves deeper scrutiny of relationships, financial capability, and long-term responsibility. Affidavits of support are legally binding, and failure to meet financial obligations can have serious consequences. Sponsors must understand that immigration benefits extend beyond paperwork and require sustained commitment. Students and young professionals face unique challenges as they transition between statuses. Moving from a student visa to work authorization, and eventually to permanent residence, requires careful timing and planning. Missed deadlines, unauthorized employment, or incorrect filings can disrupt this pathway. Those who plan early and seek proper guidance significantly reduce their risk. Enforcement priorities in 2026 emphasize selective scrutiny rather than mass action. Authorities focus on overstays, misrepresentation, and fraud indicators. Individuals who follow rules and maintain accurate records are far less likely to face enforcement issues. However, reliance on outdated information or informal advice can lead to serious mistakes. Immigration policies change frequently, and what was acceptable years ago may no longer apply. Technology plays a decisive role in modern immigration. Automated systems flag inconsistencies across databases, including prior applications, travel history, and employment records. While this increases efficiency, it also reduces margin for error. Applicants must assume that every detail is cross-referenced. Accuracy and honesty are no longer optional, they are fundamental requirements. The emotional impact of immigration cannot be ignored. Prolonged uncertainty, family separation, and processing delays place immense stress on individuals and families. Mental resilience and realistic expectations are essential. Immigration is rarely fast or predictable, and patience is often tested. Those who prepare mentally as well as legally are better equipped to navigate setbacks. Financial planning is another often overlooked factor. Application fees, legal costs, and potential delays can strain resources. Additionally, financial stability plays a role in eligibility, particularly for family-based cases. Maintaining strong credit, consistent income, and proper tax filing supports both legal compliance and overall stability. For those considering naturalization, preparation should begin years in advance. Continuous residence, physical presence, and good moral character are assessed holistically. Past issues such as late tax filings, minor legal violations, or misstatements on previous forms can affect eligibility. Proactive review of one's immigration history helps identify and address potential risks early. Community integration also influences long-term success. Stable employment, community involvement, and adherence to laws reflect positively on applicants. While not formally required, these factors contribute to a broader narrative of responsibility and contribution, which can be beneficial in discretionary decisions. The future of U.S. immigration will likely remain complex. Economic needs, security considerations, and political dynamics will continue to shape policies. Applicants must adapt rather than assume stability. Flexibility, awareness, and continuous learning are essential traits for navigating this evolving system. Ultimately, immigration success is built on preparation, compliance, and integrity. There are no shortcuts that lead to lasting security. Every form submitted, every decision made, and every action taken contributes to an individual's immigration story. Those who understand this and act accordingly position themselves for long-term stability and success in the United States.